What's going on, YouTube? It's your main man, Mr. Council, back with another one. Saturday motivation. You know how we do. Most people working 9 to 5. So by the time they get to Saturday, they feel it's that time to take their foot off the gas. But most content creators, artists, business people understand that Saturday is that day you put your foot on the gas and handle your business for whatever it is you're trying to do. We're back again. Another exciting day. I'm down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Excited to be here. It's my home away from home. It's just, I guess, my place of peace. You know, Connecticut is my home, but I'm always ripping and running when I'm home, constantly working, doing what I got to do. So when I need to kind of reset, I always come down here to Charlotte to just kind of relax, see some friends, and just get away. Today, I want to talk to you about 4 steps to sustainable excellence. Oftentimes, we set out to accomplish great things, but we don't understand that we have to take measured steps into sustaining our success. It's 4 things I want to discuss briefly with you. I don't want to keep you here forever, but I just wanted to touch on these things just to kind of give you a little bit of motivation. And these are for people who are really in the fight, people who are really working, people who are already pursuing their purpose, not people who are just really getting started. If you're just getting started, that's cool. You can learn from this, but this is for people who are really already in the thick of it. I feel like these 4 things will help you maintain your peace of mind when you're on your journey, because this struggle gets hard. And oftentimes you feel like you want to give up. Oftentimes you feel like what you're doing isn't worth it because you can't see the end result. I mean, you see it in your mind, but when you go through so many ups and downs on your journey, you oftentimes feel like it's something trying to stop you. When, these are things and obstacles being put in your way to build you and prepare you for what's coming. So the first thing, I don't know if this is necessarily the first thing you should do, but I feel it's one of the steps that we forget to do. And you really need to celebrate your accomplishments. You have to celebrate your accomplishments. I'm not one who's big for patting myself on the back for doing things, but you really have to stop and celebrate the great things that you do along the way. Oftentimes, we get in this pattern of work where we're working so hard, we don't stop to see what we've really accomplished. And when you stop and you see how far you've come, that helps you understand and gives you the energy that you need to keep pushing forward. When you stop to celebrate your accomplishments, you're not stopping to try to praise yourself or become arrogant. But what you're doing is you're reminding yourself of how far you've come. And a lot of times we don't stop and do that. So when we give up so much, we forget, or until after we've given up, we forget all the things that we've accomplished along the way, all the things that are important, all the things that we've touched, all the people we've touched or blessed, or just things that we've done to be greater. And so it's very important that you celebrate your accomplishments, because when you find those moments where you're really doubting yourself, remembering what you've done will keep you focused. It will help you understand that all of this is going to be worth it one day, that you're not doing this for nothing, and that it's your time to keep pushing. And if you just keep pushing, things will begin to come together. It's not going to get much easier, but things will begin to come together, and you'll really begin to understand why you're on this journey. The second thing that you need to do is acknowledge your failures. Being a school teacher, it gets frustrating because we teach children that failure is a bad thing. Now, failing in school is not necessarily a good thing, but failures in life, things that you try to do, things that you try to accomplish, it's not a bad thing, because anytime that you fail from something, you're going to learn something in that process. And oftentimes when we fail something initially, we feel it's that stage where we need to give up. This isn't for us. When no, you just might need to put a little bit more work in. And see, a lot of times we get so hyped up when we get our goals, when we first see certain things that we might want to do, we get so hyped up about it. First bump in the road, it knocks you off your game, you're ready to give up. And that's not how it's supposed to be. So we have to embrace failure. One thing I learned from Will Smith, he says you have to seek out failure. Now, I'm not necessarily, I don't know if I necessarily want to go looking for trouble, but I'm understanding what he's saying when he says seek out failure, because when I've ever failed at something and I've tried it again, I've always gotten better at it. And it might take me a couple times, it might take me a couple different ways of rescheming to do things, but I always find a better path and I always find a better way. So failure is not something that you should run away from. And it's not something that you should allow you to tear yourself down. You should not allow yourself to be torn down by failure. Failure is meant to build you up. So oftentimes when we learn in school that failing is a bad thing, yeah, you're not supposed to be running around getting F's or U's or whatever it is they call it now. You're not supposed to be running around trying to fail things. But if you don't fail, then a lot of times you really don't learn and prepare yourself for something that's going to be more difficult in your future. So it's important to celebrate your accomplishments, but you also need to acknowledge your failures, because in acknowledging your failures, you'll know where you need to improve, how you need to improve, and how to make yourself a lot better. The third thing I'm going to talk about is to learn from your mistakes. You have to learn from your mistakes, or you're just going to keep repeating them. And I've done this so much in my life in so many different ways, just continuing to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. We know that. But you have to learn from your mistakes. And see, a lot of times that takes a lot of introspective thought. You really have to sit down and be real with yourself about things that you're doing. A lot of times that we're running so much, we don't acknowledge what we're doing wrong. So in acknowledging your failures, you need to really reevaluate things and learn from the things that you're doing wrong so you can get it better. It's not about giving up. See, that's our problem. You know, we're built to be too sensitive and we give up too easy, and we have to change that. We have to build ourselves to tougher times and stronger times. We're going through some crazy times right now, and we're not preparing our kids for it. We're not preparing our kids to sustain the types of issues that they're going to deal with in life. Oftentimes we're coddling children, and we've got to make them stronger. We have to make them stronger. So you have to celebrate your accomplishments, acknowledge your failures, and learn from your mistakes. And finally, rebuild from your missteps. After you take that time to learn from your mistakes, then that's where you know where you need to rebuild. See, you don't just recognize your mistakes and just say, oh, I'm not good at that, and give up. No, this is where you get the fine-tuning going on. You change things up. You read a little bit more. You study a little bit more. You learn a little bit more about your craft that you didn't know before, because that's what happens when you make mistakes. It's because you didn't know enough. That's all it is. You didn't know enough. And now you just have to simply correct that by learning a little bit more about what you're trying to do. See, we get so headstrong. See, we don't understand the work that it takes to be great. Most people just see the end result and we're like, I want to be that. But you don't want to go through all the dark days of what it takes to get there. And when you see a master perfect his craft, he makes it look easy. So you as a layman on the sideline thinking, oh, if I just do a little work, I can do that too. And then once it doesn't come easily, you know, we throw our hands up and we give up. And we've got to change that. We've got to change our mindset. We have to strengthen our resolve, because we're just at a place where we're not strong enough anymore as people. You know, we crumble over the easiest things. And so I want to be built to last. I want to be built to last. So if I can motivate you this day, 4 ways to sustainable excellence. I got my notes here so I don't make mistakes. Every now and then I'm going to bring some notes, because oftentimes I notice in these videos when I go back and I watch myself, it's certain things I wanted to say or add in that I missed out on. And so from now on, I'm going to try to have some notes with me so I can improve this. You know, like Kevin Samuel says, you build it while we fly it. You know, you got to find ways to get better. And I really want to help somebody when I do these videos. I don't want to waste people's time doing these videos. So 4 ways that I've found to have sustainable excellence. The first one, celebrate your accomplishments. Understand that what you're doing is valuable. It's not only helping you, it's helping somebody else. Acknowledge your failures. If you don't acknowledge where you make mistakes, you'll never know how to improve to get better in the future. And then once you acknowledge your mistakes, you learn from those. Once you acknowledge your failures, you learn from those mistakes. You do everything you can, the required reading, the required exercising, whatever it is that you need to get better, that's what you do. And then finally, you rebuild from your missteps. And rebuilding from your missteps is so important because you're going to take all the information from the things you did well, celebrating your accomplishments, and also acknowledging those failures. You're going to take both of those things, and that's going to spring you forward into whatever it is you're trying to do. So, Saturday motivation, I just wanted to say thank you guys for continuing to support me. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if anything that I'm saying you relate to, or if it touches you in some way. I just want to keep doing these videos just to keep inspiring people, to let you know that you're not alone. You know, a lot of us are in this struggle, and don't give up on yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to go through trials and tribulations, but you just cannot give up on what you want. It might take a long time. It may take a lot of work, but you can do it if you put everything into it. We have to understand that life is too short. We're losing so many people all the time, not only to this pandemic, but just basic health and wellness. And so you have to take the time to understand life is precious, and you don't have but so much time. We think we always have the gift of time, and we don't. And you look up, it's 5, 10, or 15 years later, and you've done nothing. I want to be all about action for the rest of my life. I wasted a lot of years when I was younger doing nothing, wasting time, just biding my time and not really focused on something. And now that I found my purpose, I don't want to let my foot up off the gas. So I just want to come on here every Saturday just to try to motivate you to be the best version of yourself, because I'm trying to continue to find the best version of me. One thing Matthew McConaughey, I heard him say, a guy asked him, who's your idol or your hero, or something to that effect. And he said, it's me in 10 years. And then 10 years later, he got asked that question again. He said, it's me in 10 years. And he kept basically saying that to say that he hasn't met the best version of himself. So 10 years from now, he expects himself to be stronger, faster, wiser, better at his craft in every aspect, because he's constantly judging himself by who he was. So you have to be your own best competition. I'm not trying to compete with everybody else. Even though I'm in competition with everybody else in music and doing what I'm trying to do, you are in competition. You have to recognize that. But when it comes to this music thing, I'm competing with me. I'm always trying to top me. I really don't listen to a lot of other music because I don't want to get too heavily influenced by it. I don't want people to think I'm stealing anybody's styles. I want people to know this is authentically me, and I'm always trying to find a way to top myself, because if you come out, my next project, Better Man Chronicles 2, when that comes out, it has to be better than Better Man Chronicles 1. It's no question. Every one of my albums has gotten better, in my opinion. My style has gotten better, my voice has gotten better, my writing ability has gotten better, and it's just continued to thrive. So just understand, 4 steps to sustainable success. Celebrate your accomplishments. Acknowledge your failures. Learn from your mistakes and rebuild from your missteps. And I guarantee you, it might take a while, but you'll get everything that you're fighting for. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out my latest project, Better Man Chronicles Volume 1. I'm going to leave the link in the description box from now on. So please go check it out. Even if you don't want to pay for it, just go to Bandcamp and stream it and listen to it and understand that this project is special. I keep talking about it for a reason, because I just need you to hear it. Once you listen to it, then you'll understand everything I'm talking about. See, there's a lot of people that do a lot of talking. See, I got my proof in the pudding with this album. And so now that I've done all the talking about it, I hyped it up for 4 or 5 years online. Now it's out here. And now I need people to listen to it, because I need you to understand what's going on in this music game and how I'm about to change it. I don't want to brag too much, so I'm going to go ahead and get off. That's my time. Peace to all my people in the struggle.